The Montreal Canadiens have added a couple of new faces to the front office. The big name, of course, is Vincent Lecavalier, who joins the Habs as a special advisor to hockey operations. Let's get some instant analysis from Eric Engels. Now, Eric, if this was 2008 and they got Lecavalier and Martin St. Louis, I'd say, hey, let's put some money on the Habs to make the playoffs. But this is obviously a move towards the future. Talk about the addition of Lecavalier and a couple of the near misses he's had over his career as he's tried to join the Habs.
Right. Well, we heard about a big package back in 2008, and I think it was supposed to include players like Chris Higgins and PK Subban going to Tampa Bay for Vincent Lecavalier, who ended up getting bought out by the Lightning a few years later. But, he confirmed that he authorized that trade, but there was a little dispute between the Tampa owners, and whoever wanted to keep him won the argument. Well, now, he has always had the Canadiens in his heart, he said, and the opportunity to join them. It's not like he put his CV out there into the marketplace or had this grand ambition to grow in hockey operations. He's got a young family in Tampa Bay. This role is perfect for him, as he said several times. And he gets to keep that family in Tampa Bay, stay there, do a lot of video work with the Canadiens. He's going to be touching on everything, Jesse. Like from player development, he'll come into Montreal a few times, deal with the players, get to know them, maybe come to training camp. He said he's going to do some video scouting. He's going to do some in-person scouting. He's just going to do some regular consulting with both Jeff Gordon and Kent Hughes when they have a question about a player and want his opinion. And that is exactly kind of falls under the purview of a special advisor. And we're seeing this across the league, right? We're seeing Scott Niedermayer in Anaheim, some people involved in the Chicago GM search that were previously with the organization. Vincent Lecavalier wasn't, but he's got longstanding ties to Montreal, his family obviously being here, his brother Phil, and obviously the relationship with Kent Hughes, who's his longtime agent.
And let's dig into that relationship with Kent Hughes. Obviously, these are big names. Martin St. Louis, Vincent Lecavalier. I mean, they draw interest. They are big names in the Montreal market and across anywhere in the NHL. But the fact is they really don't have any experience in terms of whether it's Martin St. Louis with coaching or Lecavalier in any significant front office job, but they are Kent Hughes's guys. So is there any concern about the lack of experience and it's sort of bringing in just Kent and Jeff Gordon's guys at this point?
Well, I think it's fair for anybody to be questioning that part of it and thinking the Canadiens are building this kind of country club atmosphere around them. I know this. Look up and down any organization that's going through turmoil and wants to turn over a new leaf. They're going to, the people at the top that take over, look for people that they trust, that they know, that they believe can do the job, that are going to make them look good. Jeff Gordon, when he hired Kent Hughes, everyone talked about their relationship so in depth that he had to clarify, we're not best friends. We don't go out socially for dinner or anything like that. We just have gained a mutual respect through conversations we've had over the years. And I believe in him, and he interviewed for the job, and he was the one for us. In terms of Lecavalier, you look at him and say, okay, the longstanding relationship with Hughes, it feels like a friendship hire and give Lecavalier a chance to grow within a hockey ops opportunity that is perfectly suited for him, where his family is at home and he gets to stay there in Tampa Bay and not have to travel to Montreal. But, obviously Kent Hughes believes in the advice that Vincent Lecavalier can give him on a number of different fronts. And the fact that he's taking this kind of all-encompassing job, it speaks to something the Canadiens are very interested in doing as they build out the organization, which is eliminating the silos and bringing every department together, from amateur scouting, pro scouting, player development, coaching. They want everybody on the same page and knowing what everybody else is doing so that they can work within that framework and have a better understanding of where they're going as a club and the direction they're going in.
Okay, so let's talk about direction. You have a great piece up right now on sportsnet.ca. You had a long sit down with Jeff Gordon. I mean, this organization has made an absolute ton of changes in a very short period of time. Now, we're not going to be able to evaluate them until, truthfully, years down the road. But what are your early returns? What do you think about the moves so far, Eric?
Well, let's start with Nick Bobrov, right? Like, the most important thing going ahead here as the Canadiens collect assets and obviously some draft picks that are coming in is some help on the amateur scouting side, where Jeff Gordon said to me personally that they have a bit of a thinness in terms of the organization, and they're thin in a few different departments, from analytics to skills coaches. But amateur scouting is definitely one, and it's a really difficult thing to try and find those types of people, because typically they're working with other organizations and they have to work with them up until the draft and a little bit beyond that. and there's a lot of secrecy, so you can't go calling and interviewing and talking. So I think, Jeff Gordon would have liked to have done some things in that regard a little quicker, but most importantly, he said he wants to hire the right people. And if Nick Bobrov is that person, as the former European scouting director, who's going to come in now as the co-lead director of scouting with Martin Lapointe here in Montreal, and that was with the Rangers that he was with, and he was let go at the same time as Gordon with the Rangers. If they believe that he can really help them right now, which clearly they do, they wouldn't have hired him if they didn't, maybe that's a step in the right direction. We can judge that come draft time. To me, the early return for them is the philosophy and the mentality and what they're trying to accomplish, and their belief that they have a lot of holes to fill and a lot of things they want to do to expand their bureaucracy, but they're not rushing. Jeff Gordon said that they met with tons of people in analytics, but they want to hire the right people. This is not about doing it as fast as possible. It is about doing it the right way. And if you have that approach off the ice, it's more likely to work out well on the ice.
All right, it's been so busy for you, Eric. Let's hope the Habs take it easy for a few weeks, get you a couple of days off. But thanks for joining us again to the latest bit of breaking news.
Thank you, Jesse.